California and recently returned to working in person. My job hours have recently been erratic because of this. Yesterday, I got out of work around 8 p.m. and was too tired to make myself dinner. I figured I'd stop at a restaurant for dinner, which would also help a local business that's had a tough year. I got to the restaurant a bit after 8:30, but I had looked it up beforehand and knew it was open till 9, which I thought wouldn't be a problem. However, as soon as I sat down, the waitress was clearly rushing me and actually told me not to order a burger because they've already shut down the grill. I informed her that the restaurant's posted hours were until 9 p.m. and it wasn't my fault that they were shutting down before that. She gave me a bunch of attitude but then shrieked, "Fine," before storming off. The burger took a long time to make, probably because they shut the grill down too early and I didn't get it until after 9. While I was eating, the waitress was constantly hovering me, which I didn't appreciate after a long day's work. By the time I was finished and paid, it was around 9:25. I thought the waitress was rude and inconsiderate, so I didn't tip her. I pay for good service, not to be berated. After all of this, the waitress confronted me while I was walking to my car and kept calling me an a-hole. I feel like this further justified me not leaving a tip, but some folks at my work today actually took her side. Shouldn't a restaurant's posted hours mean they welcome customers before then? Shouldn't going on a tirade against a customer mean you don't get a tip? Am I the asshole for not leaving a tip after getting horrible service? My husband 4 years ago, and it was love at first sight. He was a widow and he had a daughter, now 17. It was tough to deal with, I won't lie, but I wanted to be with him so badly that it didn't matter. We got married 2 years ago and we've had our struggles, I won't deny, but overall it has been a very happy, love-filled marriage. At the beginning of our relationship, I was really jealous of his late wife. He had pictures of her around his home, his family loved her and talked about her, his daughter the same, his friends the same. It was tough and I was comparing myself to her. She was beautiful, successful, and intelligent. She was a great mother, friend, wife, whatever you can think of. I know that people don't like to speak ill of the dead, but I believe them when they say these things. I spoke to my then boyfriend about these feelings and he even took down some of the pictures later in our relationship. Still, his house has never felt like my home as it felt like it was still hers. When we got engaged, we decided we would buy our home and we moved in right before we got married. During the moving process, I found box after box of old photos and other materials. Photos of his ex, family photos, photos of them together, baby photos, everything. Some of these were Polaroids, they were so old. They had been together for many years and had so much history together. I don't know why at that moment I snapped, but I did. There was a box of her things and I donated some of the items and threw the rest away. I even went onto the computer and deleted photos he had stored on there. At the time, I felt like I won maybe? I don't even know what I was thinking this would accomplish, but I did it. For the past 2 years, my husband hasn't noticed. My stepdaughter turns 18 soon. She's a very intelligent girl. She graduated early, goes to a top-tier school, and is very well adjusted for someone who lost their mother so young. We have never been that close. I care for her, I do, but she never opened up to me and has never viewed me as a mom to her. I understand, but it hurts. Anyway, my husband's mom wanted photos of her as she was putting something together for her. He went to look for them, and as you can imagine, they weren't there. He asked me about them, and I admitted everything to him, as I wasn't going to lie to him. He's very angry at me and can barely look at me. I've asked him to go to marriage counseling, but he refuses. I'm 13 weeks pregnant, and I'm trying to manage the stress. He's devastated, not just for his daughter, but for himself. I know he loved his late wife very much, and if she was still here, he'd probably still be with her. He's been in tears half the time when he's speaking to me, and he won't sleep in the same room as me. I've tried to explain that I felt guilty ever since and why I did it, but he doesn't care. He asked me what he's supposed to tell his daughter. Some of the materials that I donated and threw away were really important. I know that I screwed up. I know that I need to make this up to my husband and his daughter, but I don't know how to. This was such a monumental screw up on my part. I've always been jealous of her and did not handle my emotions correctly. I tried to track down photos of her by other people, and while I did find some from his parents and her friends, her parents died when she was young and she was raised by her grandparents who are now dead. There aren't many out there. I love my husband and I want to fix this more than anything. I know that I'm hormonal right now and my mind is wandering around to every outcome that could happen. But what if it's the end of my marriage? I can't let that happen and I need to fix this. What should I do? My daughter Alyssa is 5. Every night, my wife and I go through the same routine of reminding her to pick up her toys and tidy up her room before dinner. I came home late, just right before dinner, and my wife is smiling and whispers, "Alyssa has something to show you." My daughter grabs my hand and pulls me to her room and said, "Look." I said, "What am I looking at?" She said, "My room. I cleaned it all by myself and mommy didn't even have to tell me to." I said, "That's it? I thought you were going to show me something important." "Sweetie, cleaning your room is what you're supposed to do. Nobody has to tell you to do that. You just do it. And make sure to do this every night. I'm going to take a shower." While I'm in the shower, my wife comes in and says, "Hey, what happened?" I said, "What are you talking about?" She said, "Alyssa is crying and she won't talk to me. Did she show you her room?" I said, "Yeah." She said, And what? That's what she's supposed to do." Then my wife got all dramatic and said, "Oh my God, please don't tell me you said that to her." Then we got into a huge argument while I'm in the shower, mind you. All I wanted to do was come home, take a shower, eat dinner, and go to bed. Not deal with all this crap. My wife wanted me to apologize, but I told her I don't see what I have to apologize for. I came out to eat and talk to Alyssa, but my wife, still in her bad mood, said that Alyssa had lost her appetite and cried herself to sleep. Either my wife is over-exaggerating, which she tends to do when she's in a bad mood and wants to make me feel bad, or Alyssa inherited her mother's dramaticness. Then she wouldn't talk to me for the rest of the night or even come to bed. I don't feel bad because I know that I'm right in this case. When did we start congratulating people on doing what they're supposed to do? Am I the asshole for not congratulating my daughter on cleaning her room? My mother-in-law and I have never gotten along. She hates my guts and can be oversensitive oftentimes. I tried not to give her the wrong impression about me, but we just don't like each other. I'm a new mom and on Sunday I was feeling sick. I couldn't eat what she cooked for dinner, and she seemed to take it personally. She sent me a private message of what seemed to be her final straw with my behavior, and it stated the following. Oh yes, I know and feel your passive-aggressive vibe. You keep pretending to be sick so you won't have to eat what I cook. What? You think my cooking is disgusting? Do you think I'm unhygienic? When was the last time you actually looked at yourself in the mirror? Apologies, I forgot you're a new mom and can't be bothered to even get your hair brushed. You finally trapped our son and now want to use the baby as a pawn. I don't like the fact that you're my grandchild's mother. I don't think I'll ever come to terms with it because you bore him. However, I'll pretend. Pretend that I don't know that my son's been having chats with his ex every chance he gets. Go ahead and be mean to his mommy, me, and you'll see how far that gets you. Oh, and when I watch your shit-beast dog, it stays chained to a garage day and night until half an hour before you arrive. It stinks at my house. You know, the same with your hair and clothes. My mind was blown and my gut reaction was to immediately go to my husband and show him what his mom had sent me. He didn't take it well. He tried calling her, but she didn't respond. It was 11 p.m. and he decided to drive to his parents' house and pick a fight with her about the text. According to my sister-in-law number 1, who witnessed it, he yelled at his mother, berated her, and called her names, then disowned her, which shocked everyone in the house. My mother-in-law is diabetic and she fainted on the spot, but my husband didn't stop and he just walked out of there while his family were yelling at him. After that, I got several calls and texts from them claiming I just caused irreparable damage to my husband's relationship with his mother, jeopardized her health because she was taken to the hospital, and worst of all, making my husband disown her over what? A dinner I could have easily taken a few bites of? They accused me of causing this shit show and turning my husband on his own mother and disowning her like that. My sister-in-law number 3 berated me for sharing the text with my husband, saying I should have confronted my mother-in-law alone instead of escalating the situation. She said I'm responsible for whatever happens next and I have to fix the problem that I created. I feel awful overall and so guilty since she's in the hospital. My husband is currently avoiding me. Am I the asshole for showing my husband the text that his mom sent me and causing her to be disowned? 32 and have been with my fiance for 5 years. We were supposed to get married last August, but made the tough decision to postpone our big day until August 2022 because a lot of our older family members had expressed concerns with flying and being around a crowd of people. I met him at work. We were both hairstylists at a higher end salon. It's not really a creative environment. Occasionally you'll get someone who wants rainbow hair, but other than that, it's very generic colors and cuts. Like 9 months ago, he told me he was feeling really depressed and stagnant at work and wanted to quit and work in a more creative environment. I supported him and he started working at a new salon within a month. Literally everyone who works there is in their early to mid 20s besides him. He was instantly so much happier and within a few weeks he expressed a desire to start trying for a family and wanted me to come off the pill. I told him I thought it would be better to wait a little while, preferably after the wedding because he wasn't bringing in the same money he used to. Some of his clients followed him, but the majority didn't, so his book/money was cut in half. His birthday is in May and he brought up trying again and how he's in a good place at work and the timing's right. I agreed to come off birth control and not really trying to prevent it or thinking it would take months to get pregnant. I got pregnant in June, 20 weeks and 4 days, and we're both excited for the next chapter of our lives together. In July, he changes his hours and starts working more. He tells me it's because he wants to be able to have money set aside for the baby because I won't be working for 6 to 8 weeks after birth. I thought it was sweet that he was trying to provide for the baby. 2 weeks ago, he sits me down crying and telling me that he effed up. I'm thinking that he got fired, but it turns out he cheated on me with his 20-year-old apprentice that's under him. I was in complete shock. He told me that it's been going on since he found out I was pregnant because all of a sudden things got real and he couldn't handle it. I told him I couldn't deal with all of this now and that he needed to get out and stay with friends or family. He's been calling and texting me nonstop and apologizing, wanting to work on things, but he won't quit. I don't trust him and I don't think I can unless he leaves his job and isn't around her all the time. I've talked to my therapist about this and I really don't know what the right answer is here. I'm not pissed, I'm hurt. He's going to be in my life forever one way or another. I told him that I'm 99% sure this is something that I can't get over. Him not being involved is not an option. I would never be that cruel. He'll be a great father and he's so good with kids. However, I don't know what to do and any advice would be great. I have a soon-to-be 17-year-old cat that has been with me basically my whole life. She was there for me when nobody else was. When my grandmother died, my dog died, my parents divorced, and when I was raped and got pregnant with triplets. She has been my best friend through all of it. So yesterday I got home to see a child outside of my house and then I see him pulling on my cat's tail. It wasn't just small pulls either. My cat was screaming at the top of her lungs. I immediately ran over and took the kid by his collar, slapped him and told him that if he ever comes back, I'll beat him half to death. I know that threat was a bit massive, but my cat means way more to me than some stupid kid who can't treat animals properly. Today, his mother came over threatening to call the cops. Apparently it was child abuse. But something that troubles me is that I'm 18 and I have triplets. I'm a single parent and my children behave way better than that spoiled brat. He's even 1 year older than my children and has no siblings, so he should have been raised better. Basically, his mother made the excusing that he's just a child, which is bullshit. Many children can behave properly towards animals, but her child is just the devil, to be honest. I honestly don't think I overreacted because her son is scared to go anywhere close to my house now, and that means my cat is safe from that awful child. However, some of my friends keep saying that it's just a cat and I shouldn't have reacted so harshly. Am I the asshole for slapping and threatening a 6-year-old for pulling my cat's tail? This morning, my daughter's alarm was going off for 30 minutes, so I went in to check on her and she was very pale. There was a large blood stain on her bedsheet, and when I pulled that down, almost her whole shirt was drenched in blood. I had my husband call an ambulance and asked her what happened. She told me that the day before, a girl who'd been bullying her threatened her with a knife in the bathroom, and when my daughter tried to defend herself, the bully accidentally stabbed her in the stomach. I was shocked because I thought she had been exaggerating about the extent to which this girl was bullying her. When she was younger, she almost got a teacher in trouble for accusing her of touching her inappropriately, and since then I've taken everything that she says with a grain of salt. The ambulance arrived and took her to the hospital, and when they found out that she'd been stabbed, they contacted the police. My husband and I were questioned for not noticing it or reporting it, and we told him the truth. We had no idea it even happened. We later asked her about how she hid it, and she she got super snarky, saying it's easy when you have parents who don't care. I later got the real explanation, saying that since it was towards the end of the school day, she put on a sweater over it, drove home, threw the shirt that she was stabbed in the dumpster, and when we had gotten home, she was apparently wearing 2 shirts and a hoodie so there wouldn't be any bleeding. She expected the bleeding to stop by then, but it didn't. We asked her why she hid it and she said, I didn't want anyone to see me. I know what she meant. When she was about 10, she suddenly got very weird about removing clothing, calling everything covered by shorts and a t-shirt private. She'd never go to the pool or beach with us, and she would have meltdowns at the doctor's office and wouldn't even let me or my husband hug her for a while. I, frankly, was hurt that she would rather hide herself and lie to us than to get help after being stabbed, but I didn't express this. I don't know what to do. I have to be there when the police question her tomorrow, and I'm worried about what she'll say. I've sat in on a therapy session with her, and it seems like she lied to the therapist about us. What will she say to the police? I don't know how to deal with any of this and need some advice.